Hi there, I'm Sarah Zervos, and today is Wednesday, October 7th. Today I want to talk to you about the fact that foreigners are selling U.S. debt. In fact, take a look at this chart. This is the chart from Wall Street Journal today. You can find it online, which shows net foreign purchases of U.S. Treasury securities, notes and bonds, through time. You can see from 2005 up to more recent times, foreigners bought a lot of U.S. debt. Very recently, they're selling a ton. What's going on? Well, China, Brazil, Russia, and even Norway are the big culprits behind that selling. In the run-up to 2013, there was an oil boom, right? So oil prices were pretty high, with the exception of, the crisis period in 2008. And the countries that were, exporting a lot of the oil, they accumulated tons and tons of dollars, and they went and parked those dollars in U.S. Treasury securities, which is great because the U.S. was issuing a lot of debt at that time. What about China? They don't produce oil. Well, a lot of flows were going into China, investment flows like foreign direct investment, trade flows, etc. And China accumulated a massive amount of reserves. Reserves are the holdings of cash that they can put anywhere they want. Well, they put it into U.S. dollars and bought a lot of U.S. bonds. So what's changed? Times aren't so good for these countries. First of all, China has had a lot of economic problems, you may have heard. They actually spent $120 billion or more in the month of August to support their currencies. What they did was sell U.S. government debt, to sell those dollars, and bought the Chinese currency, the yuan. So them alone, that country alone, was responsible for a big chunk of the net selling of securities. Likewise, you might have noticed that oil prices are pretty darn low. Well, Russia, Norway, those are big oil producers, and they found themselves in a similar situation where their currencies were suffering quite a bit. They weren't getting the inflows into the oil dollars, and so they too sold their holdings of U.S. securities. Now, why should you care? Well, those holdings tend to be in long-term government bonds, like 10-year bonds and 30-year bonds. When they sell, yields could go up. And what do those yields matter to you? Well, you might have a mortgage or you might borrow long-term, debt, and the yield at which you pay your mortgage is usually benchmarked to one of those U.S. Treasury yields. Now, I don't think there's a reason to go out and finance or refinance right now. Yields aren't about to go crazy running high, and that's because, generally the U.S. economy is kind of dodgy right now, and definitely the European and Japanese economies aren't doing so well. Right now we have a battle of yields, you might say. Some pressures, like the selling of by foreigners, may yields go up, but generally we see a lot of Americans still plowing their savings into debt securities. So nothing to do right now, no big worry, but we should keep an eye on the fact that most of government debt is held by these foreigners.